Okay, Ivan, why don't you tell anybody that watches this where you're from and where you are in the USA?
Alright, hello there. I'm Ivan. I'm from Denmark, and I'm here in Savage, Montana in the United States of America. I'm here working on a beet and wheat farm for 9 months, so that's going to be an experience for me.
Okay, and tell them about the farm. How big is it? You know, how many acres of beet and how many acres of wheat are you growing?
Yeah, we got about 2,200 acres in all, and about 800 of them is valley, so it's irrigated land where we can have beets and wheat on, and the rest is acres is just dry land, the last 1,500. They're dry land, so that's only wheat after wheat because there ain't no irrigation out there.
Okay, and you arrived here, I think, in end of March, beginning of April.
Mm-hmm.
So, tell the people what you know, kind of jobs you've been doing on the farm: planting, spraying, irrigation, etc.
Yeah, I was out there in the early April, but the winter was still a little hot there, so we wasn't started. We started in the middle of April by planting all the wheat, and I ran the air seeder sometimes. It's just a 30-foot air seeder, normal, and we got a Cage Magnum 270 in front of it, pulling it. And then we had to plant the beets, where I ran the mulcher in front of the beet planter. I leveled it out and breaked up all the crusts so the beet could germinate when they had to get to that. Then it went a little time and we had to do some work in the shop on the machinery. I went out spraying a little. And then the heat came and the summer began, so we had to start irrigation. And they got different ways of irrigating here. The easiest way is just to pull up and you pick up, push one button and the pivot runs around. That's the easy way. But then we got a little more fields where we couldn't have a pivot on, so we have to irrigate them by ourselves. And that happens with some tubes. You pull an irrigation ditch where you turn in some water from a main ditch into that ditch, and then you have some tubes around this long that's bent over. You dump it all the way into the water, and then you throw it over the ditch, and then the gravity flows will take the water from the ditch and pull it out on the field. And that's the way it usually is to irrigate here in Montana.
Okay, so when you're using the flood irrigation, you have to move the tubes every day?
2 times a day. Normal time were 12-hour sets on the normal fields, but we had some were 8-hour shifts, so it's 6 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, and 10 at night. So it's a whole lot of planning about when you got to do it.
Okay. Now we're here. It's the middle of August today. We're on the farm. Beautiful day. You're in the middle of wheat harvest, correct?
Yes, we just began this Monday here, and I've been running the combine a few days, and it's a KHIS 2188 with a 30-foot header on it. That's running pretty good, and I've been out baling a little because some of the straw we had to take off the field because we got a whole lot of rainfall all this summer, so we got a whole lot more straw than we used to handling.
Okay, and then once wheat harvest's over, how long will it be till sugar beet harvest starts?
Oh, we'll be done combining in about 14-15 days, and then it'll be the end of August, and then the most of September we'll do the field work for next spring where we have to plant the beets. We'll rip it or plow it and disc it and work it good and through so it's black all winter through, because you can't do anything in the spring up here because it dries out too fast. But we'll start the beet harvest in the 1st of October. Then it goes on for 21 days. We have to dig all the beets.
So you will run 24 hours per day on beet harvest?
No, I think we'll take about 16.
Okay.
So that ain't too bad.
And you're going to run 2 beet harvesting gangs, correctly?
Yeah, we're going to run 2 beet diggers and 2 defoliators and then 5 trucks on the same field, so we get some done, you know, and if one breaks down, the other one can just keep on going.
Okay, so that'll take you through most of October.
That's true.
And then by then it'll be getting to the end of your season, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what about things outside of the farm, Ivan? I mean, I know you've been here, you've been operating the machines, doing maintenance, irrigation, learning about the crops. What have you done for fun away from the farm?
I was actually surprised when I got here in the spring. I didn't know anybody was going to the United States, so I didn't know anybody before I got over here. So I got a little surprised that there was 5 other Danes around me here in Montana. So I made quick friends and I felt at home in the beginning. So, but we've been down to the Mount Rushmore and the Crazy Horse down in Rapid City in South Dakota, seeing all that around. We've been to the Bucking Horse Sale down in Miles City, seeing the Crazy Rodeo over here. And then me and another friend got asked of a local guy over here if we wanted to spend a weekend on the river. So we went on a fishing trip all the way through the Yellowstone River on a boat, and we camped out on an island out there, and that was an experience, you know.
It's important that you meet some of the local American people, right?
Yeah, it is important that you get out, you know, socialize, not just being yourself and go home and sit by the TV or the computer all night. You gotta go out, explore something, because it's a once in a lifetime experience you're over here. So you just gotta go out, and that's also been the good thing about over here. You know, it's easy, you know, you go down to the bar, maybe have lunch, and then you meet somebody down there and you start talking. Then they invite you out to see their farm, or, you know, invite you down to the garage or their home, and, you know, have a talk with people. So that's pretty nice over here. Everybody's very friendly.
Okay. Before you came here, I mean, you obviously decided that you wanted to come to the US, and we contacted and we did the paperwork.
Yeah.
Was the paperwork something, the possibility of the paperwork, something that maybe put you off initially?
No, not at all, because I put my mind up to it. I was pretty young and I had a plan all the way from when I was a little kid that I wanted to be a farmer and take over the family business back in Denmark. So I went out and got my farming education done, and then after that I was only 20 years old, and I always wanted to go to the United States, but I know you got to be 21 or older, because it makes everything a whole lot easier. About you can go out, have a beer, you can go out, have fun all the time, and also if you have to, you know, pay insurance on the car you buy, everything gets a little easier after you get 21. So I took a job as a manager back in Denmark for 3 years, and then I went over here this spring. But the paperwork was, I contacted Dave, and Dave contacted John, and John contacted me, and then paperwork was forward, backwards, and it was, you just gotta, if you don't understand it, you just go to Google Translate, and it'll most of the time take it over so you understand what it is, but otherwise it ain't too bad, all the paperwork.
Okay, good. And you know, you got your visa, you came over, and I'm guessing you found it fairly easy to settle in over here?
Fairly easy, it was no problem. I got over here the first day, and Dave and his wife picked me up in the airport and drove me home, and I bought a little supplies for me so I could take over the first days, and then otherwise I just settled in, and we went on a trip around to meet some of the other trainees over here, and then you just fall and talk, and in a week you settle in. So.
Okay. And Ivan, when you came here, you've got your responsibility and you've seen the US now. What would you advise a guy in Denmark who's maybe just finishing high school, wants to go into agriculture, maybe he's just starting his education at an agricultural school to become a skilled farmer?
Yeah.
What advice would you give him as far as traveling overseas, you know, whether it be the USA or another country?
I say go out, see the world, because it's once in a lifetime experience. You go out, you see the world when you're young, you got a whole lot of energy, and you just want to explore new things. You know, it's the perfect opportunity when you're young. You don't have any family and you're not settled down anywhere, so you can just pack your things up and then travel around.
Okay, good. Well, thanks very much, Ivan. Enjoy the rest of the harvest and the beet harvest, and we'll see you on down the road.
We'll sure do. Take care.